Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Malicious Female Fan Steve Malicious here with the LG Wing. You can get it right now. Amazon renewed $315. And I could tell you, the only mobile device I've ever wanted to and enjoyed multitasking with. We'll talk about it today on this edition of Steve Malicious Tech. And we're back as always. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers. Getting oh so close to 6,100 now. Oh, thanks for 6,000, by the way. Always appreciate it. If you've been loving the tech, both new and old, go ahead and give that subscribe button a tussle. It certainly means a lot to me. So the LG Wing, and you're going to notice the title of the video is going to be Worth It If You're Strong Enough, which is, of course, what the Tommy Lee Jones character in Men in Black tells Will Smith. And it is worth it if you're strong enough. And we'll talk about that in a moment as well. The first thing, which is crazy, and the price has already dropped again. I think I paid $350, and that was like 3 weeks ago. And now they're already at $315. I think there's a reason for that. By the way, this is for Gary. I put this so the numerals are actually facing up, so Gary doesn't have a problem with that. So that one's for you, buddy. There you go. The date is now facing up on the Bushin calendar. So the specs are all there. Originally, when it came out, I wasn't quite interested for $1,100. I thought it was interesting, it was different, but it wasn't quite $1,100 different. But now, when you talk about LG being defunct, that's part of it, or not defunct, okay, the mobile division just going away for a while, and the price coming down to this price point here, then this becomes very interesting, and it runs well enough that $315 is more than justified. Unlike other companies and other devices when they go away, and you have to worry about support and security updates and all the rest of it. As of, I think, today, December the 14th, Verizon users are having Android 11 rolled out on their Wing. And it's coming soon to the AT&T version as well, whether it's this month or early next month. And they did promise, and it's not like a company that just went out of business. LG's still around, right? They're selling you microwaves and stuff. So when they make a promise like that, it's in their best interest to keep it. And they promise support, since this was the latest flagship or the last major flagship release that they had, that they're going to support it for the 2 years. So that gives you support through the end of next year. So if you're worried about that, when you think about devices in the $315 price range, getting support at this level of performance, that starts to become more and more attractive. And it's not... This is where the worth it if you're strong enough comes in. This is incredibly interesting. The mechanism is great. It's solid. I'll tell you, it doesn't get old. We're going to talk about multitasking in a minute. But like what happened and what are the reasons why there was a downfall to LG, you have to be okay and accept the quirkiness that is the LG software. It is not the best on the planet. And if you're the type of person, listen, I'm an iOS user, so not to throw iOS users under the bus, but if you're an iOS user, used to it kind of keeping you in this walled garden where everything was okay and everything just kind of worked and there weren't these hard crashes and all the rest of it, then this device really isn't for you. You have to be okay with the occasional complete glitch out of the screen. Where I went to the lock screen, the bottom half of the screen was glitching like crazy. The top half of the screen was completely off, so I had to do a hard reset, and then it came back, and it was fine, like nothing happened. You have to be okay with the fact when you do a software update on this, it'll just roll the AT&T logo, at least on mine, over and over and over again, until you hold the power button, and then it pops on, and it's fine, like nothing happened. You have to be okay with an optical fingerprint sensor that works most of the time. You could pretend, it'd be like a Pixel 6 fantasy camp. You could pretend you're a Pixel user. But that's kind of what you're looking at. Sometimes you'll think you've locked the device and it'll be open in your pocket, not even realize it. Sometimes you'll open apps or you'll swing it around for this and it'll take a moment or it'll lag or it'll glitch or something will happen and you'll have to close something. But that being said, at the end of the day, it does work. Nothing here is mission critical. It's annoying. You wish it weren't there. But at $315, you're a little bit more accepting, especially with the experience that you get. So let's talk about multitasking. I jump up and down talking about how I don't multitask on even the fold devices. It doesn't interest me. I just do what I regularly do on a smartphone. I just do it on a wider display. This, you really can't do that, because what are you doing with this shape that you're just doing one app? I guess it's possible if you have one up here, if you have other ones down here, but nothing's going to be optimized for this anymore, right? This is kind of a defunct form factor. But what it does do is interesting. Now, when I first got it, I didn't understand that you had to go in and allow apps to use the secondary display, because originally the apps that they give you to choose from to make your little pairs down here are incredibly limited. And I was disappointed. I was like, oh man, I got this device and it doesn't even let me pair the apps that I want to pair. That kind of stinks. But if you go into settings and you go down to display, and then you go into second screen apps, allow all the apps. Just go through and start allowing every single app. Even if it says it's not optimized, it's fine, because I'm going to tell you how I use it, and this might be an instance of how you can use it, or at least something similar. You flip it open. One of the apps I have paired is the NFL app and my CBS Sports Fantasy app. So, when you do this, okay, you got my team here, which is getting destroyed, but it's fine. When you have a game up on the NFL app, you click into the game. See, right now it's not optimized. Nothing's going to happen. It's kind of long ways, right? When you click into a game or a video, you kind of finagle it. You can have the entire NFL game up here, and you can have your entire fantasy sports down here, or Twitter down here. Or a lot of times I'll be watching a game up here, and I'll have WhatsApp on down here talking to friends. You're on Instagram, whatever. It is incredibly useful. And it doesn't feel like it's wonky, because everything is in a proper aspect ratio to how you'd be able to enjoy the content. This is exactly how it should be. You get the nice widescreen full display of the game itself. And for text, this is fine, because it's like you're just getting half a screen that you would be getting normally. So it works really well. And even let's say you don't even want to use just the bottom screen. You're not a big multitasker. If you're somebody who likes, I don't know, walking around watching YouTube videos, instead of doing this with your phone, okay, so let's say you have something in this hand and you're watching a YouTube video, where's the center mass of this device? It's out over here, right? So if you jostle it, if something happens, that device has a better chance of tipping over. Well, if you do this, you could have YouTube up here, like I've done before. You have the entire video playing up top, and you have this as a base. This isn't going anywhere. So you can have a coffee here, you can have your car keys, you can have whatever else you're doing with a free hand while you're watching a video, and that's not going anyplace. To me, that is incredibly useful. The mechanism's solid. Absolutely. I did not expect it to be, well, it really is like the old, the flip, or not the flip, I'm sorry, the sidekick. It really does feel like that. When you fling this thing open, it's an incredible feeling. Very solid, very nice. The bottom display is great. The OLED panel on this thing entirely, the color is fantastic. You make a couple tweaks. I put it on vivid when you go into the color tweaking. It works fine. Battery life, listen, it's not great. You're dealing with 4.5, 5 hours. But to have a unique experience like this at this price point, I don't think you're finding that anywhere else. My experience with Amazon Renewed on this, and I've said this about Amazon Renewed in the past, you get wireless charge, okay? The cameras will show, not bad, we'll show some pictures here. But my experience with Amazon Renewed is there's a direct correlation between the age of the device and the quality of the example that you get. This, because of whatever happened, they didn't sell a lot. LG Mobile went under, or they decided to close it down, so people just got scared, they stopped buying it. This, I don't even think this was used, and I got it renewed. The plastic, like that Qualcomm plastic and whatever else around the entire border of the device was still on it. And with Amazon Renewed, if you don't like it in the 90 days, send it back. So I think you're really protected. This is a very new device. There were a ton of overstock on these, I could imagine, from the carriers. So I think you're gonna get yourself a pristine unit and a phone at a price range that's cool, that has flagship build, flagship-esque specs, upper end, upper mid tier with the 765G, but you're getting the RAM, you're getting a nice display, you're getting the secondary display, you're getting the wireless charge, the glass build, all the rest of it, and you're getting that cool flip. So if you could deal with some headaches with the software, which is LG in general, if you're an LG fan, it is nothing for you. Go ahead and pick one up. No problem whatsoever. But it really is neat. And then you got the thing where, of course, let's go into the camera. Let's show it. This is the one thing that I think is cool, but I don't know if it's practical or not. When you slide it open and you have that gimbal where you can kind of pan with the camera and track things and whatever else. If you're getting super fancy with your video editing. I don't think that's an everyday feature. It's something that's there. It's cool. I showed it off to people once. Like, oh, this is neat, and I'll never use it again. But the fact that there's practical multitasking, I got to give them credit. I never thought there would be a form factor where I would actually enjoy multitasking on a device, but this one I absolutely do. And it makes sense because you really isn't one thing that you do on here and enjoy the experience on both displays, but you can enjoy normal experience. I hate when multitasking changes the experience I would normally have. I hate when it makes an aspect ratio too tall, skinny, goofy, sideways, whatever it happens to be. This one doesn't do that. It respects the original aspect ratios of the content that you'd be viewing. Nice video, whatever else you got, widescreen up here, and then the proper width down here for text, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you happen to be doing, keeping track of your losing fantasy team, all that stuff. Link will be in the description. Like I said, Amazon Renewed. Go ahead, pick it up. It's going to be supported. Worth the headaches, in my opinion, especially for that money. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.